I noticed that every game I've reviewed so far I've had to pay for, so I'm kicking that trend and gonna try something that's free to download. If it looks decent enough, you can download it yourself. We got Doritos Crash Course for the Xbox 360. Video games are usually created to make money, and a few of them are made just for the sheer thrill of creating a piece of art, but Doritos took neither of those courses. Or I guess the first path because it's promotion and it'll eventually lead to more money. Whatever, this game's a promotion. That's what I'm going for. So it's a free Xbox Live arcade game, and fortunately it transfers over to the Xbox One. The game's similar to the show Wipeout, where contestants have to traverse an obstacle course and make it to the other side. The levels start out simple enough, but each level throws in a new element, and eventually the later levels are full of challenging parts. It's not just a straightforward run, you have to jump, sprint, slide, and tackle other objects to make it through the level. I think that's one of the better parts of the game, learning all the maneuvers and knowing when to execute them. Sprinting can get hard to master, as your character will trip if you're sprinting for too long, so you have to manage how long your character's been sprinting. Also, you can slide on the downhill sections and build up more speed and build momentum for jumping. Again, this can be kinda tricky because it can mess up your timing to avoid other obstacles. Overall, the controls feel solid, and it's incredibly satisfying to play through a level quickly when the controls allow you to do so. There just isn't really any frustration in controlling the character. All of the levels are doable though, you really only have to beat the bronze, silver, and gold times. I think a couple of the harder levels were difficult enough that completing them in their own right would have been a challenge as opposed to beating them in a certain time limit, but again, I can't really complain about a free game. The obstacles are varied and really interesting. One of my favorites is the swinging hammer that smashes you and throws you into the camera. It's a cool effect, although it can get old after the first couple of mistakes. The chains on the ropes can get a little confusing for me. I mean, I understand the chains you climb and the ropes you can swing from, but I often find myself trying to swing from the chains and climb the ropes, but they both seem like standard platforming obstacles. The air fans and the trampolines are both a little tricky too, but they're still a welcome variety. What I don't really appreciate are the water balloons. They will stop you in your tracks and they'll make you stumble for a little bit. There's portions in levels that don't have many balloons and they still make me mess up. Then there's other parts where there's a ton of balloons and it makes me mess up too. No matter how many balloons appear on screen, they will ruin my run. This game also has a chicken button, where if you fail one part of the course too many times and you just want to skip it, you can press the chicken button. I think it's funny that they call it the chicken button, but it at least negates the timer for running the course. I think one thing that's understated about this game is how short the levels are and the fact that there's an in-game timer. I'm not one for speedrunning, but this game really gets me going to try and see if I can beat my previous times. And I can definitely feel that some of the longer levels just aren't as fun, and they feel more like a Crash Bandicoot level the longer they are. And I love Crash Bandicoot, but this game doesn't really excel at the longer platforming levels like Crash Bandicoot does. One thing that doesn't really feel as polished as the rest of the game is landing on the edges of platforms and those conveyor belts. You can kinda just hover or glitch there and it can mess you up. Other than that, it's pretty solid in terms of polish. Overall, it's a pretty solid game, especially for a free game, so I can't really complain much. If you have space on your hard drive on your Xbox One, give it a try. No surprises here, not really showing up on the top or at the bottom of the spectrum. This is just close to the middle, and like I said, it's just solid. Alright, number 30's on the horizon. I can see it. Coming soon. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Big 3-0 next.